Good morning, and welcome to yet another interview with the Divine Soul. We have Sarah Nash Lee. How exactly should I address you, my dear?
Just Sarah. It's actually Sarah Nash, and I hyphenated because of my family, but my husband is a Messerschmitt, and so I kept it simple for that reason.
All right. Well, dear Sarah, Sarah means daughter of the Father of Light, the princess, and she is yet another light worker who will be gracing the Into the Mystic Fair at Port Townsend on October 13th, 14th, and 15th. Now, this woman's list of gifts is mighty, and I'll get into that in a moment, but I want to tell you it's so important that we balance our lives. And Sarah, you're busy right now. Tell us what you're up to with your daughter.
My daughter, my beautiful, beautiful daughter, my only daughter. She's my favorite daughter. She's getting married on November 11th, and she chose that date, 11/11, for a lot of reasons, but it's 11/11/22. And one of our sayings in our family is we text each other, we'll get screenshots of our phones at 11/11. And so it means I love you. And so that's always been what 11/11 has meant in our family. So and yeah, it's a really great date, but we've just been so over the top busy with dress fittings and caterers and cakes, and it is really a beautiful celebration of love. And I'm so proud of her because at first they were deciding, oh, we're just going to leave, we're going to go to the town hall or do something like that. But as they purchased a home together, and so that was amazing. They did it, in my opinion, they did it correctly.
Mhm.
They fell in love.
Well, what you're talking about is community and family and connection and ritual and coming together. And that's exactly what the Into the Mystic is about. It's bringing the spiritual beings as yourself, who I am honoring you to prioritize that even in the midst of all this, you are coming and you are honoring and serving and giving your gifts just a few days later. So we are thrilled about that. And the theme is creating a container of love and trust and respect for the important things in life and trusting our intuition, because the changes that are coming for humanity are going to count on us holding that mantle of vibration. So I welcome you to this interview. I'm Jan Jorgensen. I am one of the co-chairs with Denise Clare for this event. Sarah is a clairvoyant spiritual life coach, channel medium, 30 years of studying, researching spiritual phenomena. So totally the type of person I love, Sarah. My therapeutic training as a practitioner came through Spiritual Response Association in 2011. She's an empath, channel, clairvoyant, a clear picture of whatever people are struggling with. So people coming to the fair are going to have an opportunity on Friday and Saturday from 10 to 4:30 to choose different readers to work with. So if someone comes, what sorts of services and how can you be there to support them to the next step?
I think the first thing that, well, okay, we're going to take a step back because we want to talk about the comfort of these people that come in, because I've noticed in the years prior with Unity and in Port Townsend in general, a lot of people tend to come here and it's their first time. So they're a little scared. Sometimes they're a little, they've had a bad experience maybe in the past. So it's not really their first time, but it's their first time with what I like to call authentic compassion through divine light. And it is really about opening the field so that we can coalesce together. One of the things I've noticed is that the energy for Into the Mystic is so beautiful. There's no competition between the psychics, the clairvoyants. I mean, Reverend Pam is there. One of my favorite people is Zilpha. Well, all of them actually, but it is really about setting a space for people to open themselves up to the possibilities that there is something outside of them that loves them and is great. So we tap into that, and we only have such a short period of time. When I do my sessions with people, I tend to tell them, it typically runs about 90 minutes, but it can run for a few hours. I've had people recently in my living room, and they have this opportunity to pour their hearts out. So we have a very limited, I think the sessions go for 30 minutes. So it is
30 minutes, correct, with a 5-minute in between. Yeah.
Good. So basically, I call those psychic sips. When I had my gallery in downtown, Undertown, Port Townsend with my husband, I had a little board up that said psychic sips. And so what I do is I have my own tarot deck. I created it last year. It's called Bridget's Ether. And so it actually came to me through a vision. I was hallucinating. I had COVID and I was on the edge of death. It got to me, but spirit spoke through me, and there was this little crow that literally jumped out of my iPad, and it was I hallucinating? Was it spirit? I mean, the thing is though, the crow started pecking as if it wanted to get back inside the my tablet. And so I began creating. When I'm not doing readings, I'm a graphic artist. And so I began creating these little images and pictures to see if the little crow would want to go back into the tablet. And so clearly, I mean, I know part of me was hallucinating. I had a horrible fever. I was sitting in bed, but my son had sent me this it's called Night Cafe, and it's an artificial intelligence kind of, you type in the text and it'll give you an image. And so one of the images the first image that appeared, and I should have had it ready, but it was the High Priestess. And so the crow, it just morphed into this image, and the cloak for the priestess became the crow's head, and its feathers, and its eye became her crescent blue moon on her forehead from the mists of Avalon, the Avalonian princesses. And so spirit told me, and that's how I created the 22 major arcanum. And then I kept going. And lo and behold, I mean, I've been working on this tarot deck for 20 years. And in 2 weeks, it was finished. And because all I could do was really just sit and recover. And it's interesting how the universe will work through us and with us for these creative opportunities. And so I will be using Bridget's Ether. And so the psychic sip is the layout of 3 cards. It represents who you are, the situation, and a possible outcome. And I always say possible, because I mean, if you don't like what you see, that's why we go see life coaches. That's why we see our priests and our rabbis. And the thing is we want to know what it is that we can do to help create a better future
Okay,
for ourselves and our
I have a question for you. So, what is pulling each specific card? Is it the person's higher consciousness, subconscious, spiritual guides? What guides them to that card? And then the information that comes through. How are you informed? How do the words come, and where are they from? Explain the intermystic part to a person who's new to this.
Those are great questions. Thank you so much. Because I can sit down I can only have 3 cards. I mean, we can start it out with 3 cards. And there is a finite amount of numbers that they will open up in a reversal position or what have you. The bottom line is that there is a finite amount of possibilities. And when you have, well, let's start with like 22 major arcana. We can use those cards, but the 22 major arcana always mean the same thing. It is the little cards around it that create the story. And that is where playing cards came from, by the way. Tarot is actually was the beginning of the playing card situation. But how do those cards appear? Well, how do they? Through my hands. We have energy, frequency, vibration. But see, that energy, frequency, and vibration is around every single person, and it is different for every single person. So I have the same deck of cards. You're going to come in, sit in front of me. Your energy, your frequency, your vibration will work with mine. And together we're going to create this story. And that is the gift of each clairvoyant and each medium and each channel that you go to. You find the one that you really jive with. Some people don't like my style. I tend to be a little bit, they call me the irreverent reverend for a reason. But I tend to keep it a little bit real. I don't sugarcoat too much. I'm not a pink and fluffy bunny, but I am truthful. I am honest, and I speak what I see and what I feel as an empath, and also as a clairvoyant. I can hear and I can see. So
Oh
I
my goodness,
together.
what a set of gifts. So this is archetypes, human archetypes, but then you're reading the story based on the person's own vibration resonance and their own higher questions.
Yes.
Um, so how people can find you is through your resonance and frequency field. When they come into the fair, they
Yes.
will see all of the readers up. We stick them on little curtains, and they'll see the name in the picture, and that's where the person will trust. And another set will be laid out in the table or in a binder, and you can go through and look at the picture and look at the gifts, and then you go over and you sign up. And you sign up and you pay, and guess what? You're going to get a little name tag with the name of the reader and the time, because we're going to help you get. It's going to be a fun fair with lots happening. Chai and Tom Drake's making homemade cookies. We're going to have speakers back in the hearth room on the hour, bringing forth important speakers, and then you're talking to your friends, creating community in the in between times. So by this little name tag that you're wearing, we'll make sure that you get to the reader in the right time.
That is perfect. And also our vendors. My
Oh,
husband is
yes.
the
Tell us
guy that
about
is,
your vending.
yes. My husband is the guy known as the guy who paints on stones. He's the one who does alchemy stones. And this is the stone that he created for my altar for the 1010 gateway. And so this is going to be going up on our altar, and we'll be right in the middle of the 1010 gateway too, when this happens. So the 1010 gateway is all about that. It's like the final set. It's where the year comes together and we get to share this harvest. So that's a marvelous thing. But I do fairy houses as well. And I do little fairy items and whatnot because I've seen the fae since I was a small child. And it all started with making sandcastles on the beach. I grew up in California, and I would walk through the forest up in Glendale right before they built all the freeways, and then I raised my family in Big Sur, and so we would see quite a bit of the fae out there, and gnomes, and so sometimes it's just imagination, and sometimes it's very real.
I am sensing lots of imagination in your history and in your future, and this magic that you bring. That's the word I meant to say. I said imagination, I meant magic. I see you as a person creating magic and color and new potentials out of possibilities. So I could talk to you forever, but what we're going to do is wrap this up with something fun. If you might, first just show us a little bit of your deck, And then would you please pick a card that represents the energy of the Into the Mystic Fair?
Absolutely. But you know what? I'm not going to use my tarot deck for a few reasons. What I'm going to use is the deck that I introduced to Reverend Pam. And I have Spiritus Mundi. It will be released next year. And I so Spiritus Mundi is my cosmic triage deck. And cosmic triage is what I call the work that I do. When I lived in California, I worked with the police departments and fire departments, and I would help them, especially through traumatic times. The things that our beloved personnel, the people in hospitals and police officers and emergency personnel, they have to deal with quite a bit. And so that's where I really focused what I do called cosmic triage. And so I created the cosmic triage deck. It's called Spiritus Mundi.
Beautiful.
And so we have red lights, green lights, yellow lights, and that's how we kind of started out. And then we have the crossing cards, which, for example, this is stress. And I don't want to show, but stress, you're
No.
going down. Stress. So
Rescue.
what I'd like to do, with your permission, is just go ahead and see where we are with regard to this. And I can just go ahead and we can choose. Now, there is no right or wrong way to shuffle. I mean, some people believe that you've got to shuffle for 8 times or what have you. It's kind of, I should do a plug here for my friend Lorna. She's got joyful pendulums, and I'm telling you,
Oh, that's a real thing. Believe me, I've experienced. Yeah.
I've got a couple of her pendulums here, but guess what we pulled? A green light. Her Majesty. And this is all about, and I love that. I love how that just happened. See, a green light means yes, go forward. Let's get this done. And it is crossed by, let's see, and I love that this Into the Mystic isn't just about divine energy, divine feminine energy either. We really want to bring in the men, because these guys, they need us, and they need that. There's some really excellent male readers out there too, but oh, look at that. It's crossed by grounding. So we know that we've got a green light. And I love this image of grounding. When I created this image, it was just like, yes, is that ground on fire? Is that lava under you? Or are you really just sitting in there and allowing those roots to just and go? So all of us there will be incredibly grounded. And that's good, because we don't want to walk into a place and have everybody's divine crown chakras like blowing up. It's like, oh gosh.
What I sense is Port Townsend is becoming a lighthouse for the world of emanating spiritual energy, which traditionally is accessed through intuition, which traditionally has been a divine feminine art. However, many males are really catching on, and it's expanding. It's not gender exclusive. So we are grounding the feminine face of the creator here of collaborative, cooperative, feminine, more of a feminine inclusive style. So I love that. And that just shows, Sarah, your gifts, inside and out of creating the visuals for that, creating the essence, the story, the archetypes, to move us even further into the realization of exactly what we're doing here. So we're going to wrap up this interview. The way that I have done it previously is, please share something about yourself that people would be surprised to know.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. What would people be surprised to know? I was a broker. I was a mortgage broker at the Cleveland office for Bank of America. I mean, before I did all of this, I was actually very involved in numbers, and I understand the corporate world. I do. A lot of people don't see me as, getting up every day and going to a, corporate office, but I did for quite some time.
That's the perfect sharing because you yourself are grounding in a very credible way these gifts, and you're coming together in community with all of us in this way. This is a very powerful fair. So I invite everyone to come and sign up for Sarah if you so resonate. You can sign up ahead of time with Beverly at Unity Church. Early Bird Gets the Worm. Join us on October 13th, 7 p.m. We have a guest speaker, Sharon Hockenbury, and then our readers and energy healers from 10 to 4:30 on Friday and Saturday. Thank you again, Sarah, for joining me
Thank
here.
you. It's been a pleasure being here. I really appreciate your time, Jan.
Totally wonderful to meet you, and I look forward to more sharing and collaboration.
Marvelous.